Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
This is the greatest show!
And now, here's your host, Clint Arthur.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the greatest show of all time, right here on 77 WABC Radio. Where is it? In New York City. That's right. And if you are an author, a speaker, a coach, an expert, or entrepreneur of any kind, then yeehaw! This is the show for you, because this whole endeavor is dedicated to helping you be seen, be heard, and be wanted so that you can have the impact, influence, and income that you desire and lust after. Are you lusting after more impact, influence, and income? I know I am constantly. And in order to help you, I wanted to bring in a very special friend of mine. I have been working with her for a couple of years now. I first saw her speak at, was it the Harvard Faculty Club?
Yes.
Yes, at the Harvard Faculty Club with Suzanne Summers a few years ago.
Yes.
And ever since then, I have been in love with my darling friend, Dr. Yvonne Mayweather. Dr. Mayweather, thank you so much for being with me on the greatest show of all time.
Well, you know, this is an absolute pleasure. I love doing your shows.
We had you on a couple of months ago, and I said, I want more of Dr. Mayweather. I want to really go in deep because there's so much my audience can learn from Dr. Mayweather. So why don't you tell us about your personal journey? Because I know you have a very personal journey to share with a lot of people that will mean a lot to a lot of people.
I think when you're young, you kind of think you'll be invincible forever. I used to work many shifts because I had a lot of student loans. And you know what? I just didn't take care of myself like I should have. It got to a point where I started to notice that my brain, the processing was starting to slow. Like when I'd be in the emergency department and I'm supposed to think of a drug, like quick, it wasn't coming. And I really panicked because of course I can't work in that capacity. So I also was fatigued. There were some other symptoms, but those were the two main ones. All my labs, everything were fine. But like I said, I was desperate. So I actually reached out to a anti-aging / like age management doctor. And he happened to be an old ER doctor, so we clicked. He said he went through the same thing I did. And we did a workup with him. And that included hormones. And something that I wasn't familiar with, not these hormones, not in this capacity, and found out that I basically had the hormone profile of someone, it's embarrassing, but like 25 years older than me. And basically the stress was doing that to me. So when I started to do some stress management and started replacing my hormones and getting them optimized and balanced, oh my goodness, it made all the difference in the world in terms of like my brain was much sharper. And my fatigue, I actually got my vitality back. I said to myself, this is what people are looking for. They're not looking to age like their parents and grandparents did. They're looking to stay vital with a great quality of life, optimal quality of life until they die. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to start practicing this new field, anti-aging medicine. And I essentially started to practice it. And at the time, I was diagnosed with adrenal dysfunction, something that traditional medicine doesn't recognize. They recognize when your cortisol is too high, way too high, or really low, but nothing in between. And that's where I was. You know, I got certified and started practicing, worked for a great company, well, the world's largest anti-aging medical group in the world, started getting great experience. And it ended up that something that basically happened 10 years prior when I was feeling ill popped up. And it was breast cancer. And it was early. I caught it early and it was non-aggressive. You know, I threw everything at it at that time. But it reappeared. And what I found, learning anti-aging medicine and also being certified functional medicine, those two fields basically were going to save my life. I believe that there's 5 pillars to have a healthy, optimal lifestyle, and that is detoxification, nutrition, fitness, hormone balance, and stress management. And that stress management was where I was really failing. I was starting to eliminate stress, but I actually wasn't taking care of my inner well-being. That was the difference in my health that I needed to tackle. And actually, what I actually saw was that my health truly improved when I actually started to really deal with my inner well-being. That's really when my health started to improve. And actually, I went into remission because actually the cancer went from early to metastatic.
You said there was 2 elements, stress reduction and inner well-being. So
yes.
I'd love for you to share with the audience your 5 best tips on reducing stress. And then I want you to go into the 5 best tips on inner well-being.
First and foremost, you got to get rid of as much stress as you can. I mean, obviously we can't get rid of all of it, but bad relationships that that kind of linger in our life that are maybe even in the back of our mind bothering us, we need to eliminate that. We need to not, for instance, like watch things like the news all the time that put us in a negative vibration.
Okay, those are 2 separate ones, right? The chronic
Yes.
relationships and inputs like information inputs that put you in a bad mood. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Actually, what to me is really key is we are responsible for our vibration, how we feel, whether we're going to be happy or sad. If we start to think that and control our vibration, it does absolutely affect your inner well-being.
I want to go back to eliminating toxic relationships. Give me an
Yes.
example of a toxic relationship that you eliminated. And I want you to be honest, and maybe you don't talk about this a lot, but who's one of the people that got eliminated?
I actually retired from the emergency department. That was a huge stressor that I truly couldn't control.
That's a work stress. You had to eliminate
Yes, it
that
is.
work stress. Okay,
Yes.
good. All right. Now, let's talk about, so are you telling people that they should cut out certain people from their life?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what about if
Absolutely.
that's your mother?
Obviously, a lot of times you can't cut out your mother, but you know what? You're going to have to limit it. It's important to limit it. The most important thing for you should be your health and well-being. And if that relationship is toxic to you, then it's going to affect your health. And we see it, and I've lived it. So, hopefully that relationship maybe could be worked on, could be improved. But if not, it needs to, you need to cut it to a minimum if it's making you
Okay, so we got
sick.
Controlling people who are in your life who are giving you stress, controlling work that is in your life that's giving you stress,
Absolutely.
controlling information in your life, such as
Absolutely.
news or other media that could be giving you stress. What's number 4?
As important, and you asked me to give 5 of them, is how you nourish your inner well-being. Because oftentimes, you can eliminate some negative stressors, but if you don't start nourishing this part of yourself that we're not really taught to do, we weren't taught this in medical school, to nourish our inner well-beings, what meditation does, how it affects your nervous system, your brain, and other parts of your nervous system. How, when you do that, your nervous system starts to deal with stress so much better than before, and how it boosts your immune system. There was a cell biologist, his name is Dr. Lipton. He was able to prove that one of the biggest triggers that turns on bad genes is stress. More so than, let's say, you smoking or like other toxins that we know turn on bad genes. Stress, emotional stress does it.
That's one of the reasons why Allie and I want to move down here to Acapulco, because I believe that if we reduce stress by living in Acapulco half the year, we would probably add a decade to our lifespans. What do you think?
I agree, and it may be more. I mean, because obviously, there's no reason why most of us shouldn't be living till we're 100 or more. particularly if you know,
Yeah.
you've seen that your family, you have that history. That's what we have to do. We have to start thinking about eliminating the stressors and treating our bodies like temples, nourishing our inner well-beings, and really putting your health first.
All right, we got
Yes.
some good stressors: people,
Yes.
information, and jobs. Then you talked about inner well-being. Give us
Yes.
some more ideas about inner well-being and what we can do to nourish our own inner well-being.
Your inner well-being is like your feelings and your intuition. You can nourish that, and actually it's even a connection, your inner connection with God. And so there's many different ways that you can nourish that. You can do different types of meditation. Like, for instance, we know of mindful meditation. Even listening to music, exercise is a good stress reliever. Yoga or other forms of meditation, like there's one Tai Chi or something called Qigong. All of them do something different in terms of tuning up your nervous system to stress and making it much, much healthier.
Okay, meditation is a good form of inner well-being, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, tuning up. Yes. Mhm.
Okay, then you also mentioned a relationship with God or
Yes.
spirituality, right? That's a second way to tune up your inner well-being. You know, I was thinking the other day, I like to call people that I like, and I was thinking the other day,
Mhm.
I don't just call people that I like, I only call people that I like. It's really interesting. I'm very blessed.
Oh, well, then that's great.
I'm
Mhm.
very blessed that I really only talk to people that I really like. It's a wonderful thing. All right, so we got
Very good.
meditation, we got spirituality,
Yes.
we've got meditative exercise such as yoga, swimming, walking, qigong,
Oh,
etc.
Qigong. Yes.
That's 3 ways. Is there a fourth way to work on inner well-being?
Alpha meditations. These are meditations that you just use in 5 minutes. And actually, it's something that Steve Jobs used to do for himself. He used to do 5 times a day.
Oh, tell us all about this.
What I used to do is I used to get up in the morning and I used to do like maybe an hour's worth of meditation, different meditations, like breathing exercise. I'm sorry, I had forgotten about another one, but
Good.
breathing
That's
exercises are super.
Inner well-being, breathing
Yes.
well. Right. So you're saying Steve Jobs with these alpha meditations, he would just sit there for 5 minutes and focus on what his next task was going to be?
Yes, or what he needed to do. Because, you know, oftentimes, tell me if you can relate to this, and I'm sure a lot of people can. Let's say you start your day and you're busy and, you know, there's distractions, and sometimes you can lose your focus. And when you stop and you meditate for like a few minutes, you get your focus back, and it oftentimes will tell you where you need to be going for the next few hours. And so actually I've been using that, and it's helped me to really stay on like my time schedule. Because if I don't do this, I find myself distracted really easy, but it helps you stay on point.
Now, in your study of Steve Jobs and his alpha meditation habit or practice, what was one of the products that this alpha meditation process was used while he was developing it?
When he was fired from Apple, I'm certain that that's what helped him develop Pixar.
I love that. I love that. Now, I
Yes.
want to go back to this inner well-being. And what about slow food movement? Do you know about the slow food movement? And do you think that
Slow
might be
food?
considered? Yeah, slow food. It's the opposite of fast food. Slow food philosophy is food should be enjoyed. Food should be ritualized. Food is part of life. It's not something that you do just to get it done and over with. You do it because it's part of life. So a slow food experience would be to take a 2-hour lunch in the middle of a hot day and just enjoy a nice meal, lovingly prepared with great ingredients and perhaps some wine or sparkling water.
Yes.
A bit like the old way they used to eat in the old country, when before we came here from the old country. But that's what slow food really is. What do you think about that? Is that part of inner well-being?
Yes. You know what? Ideally, that would be like perfect. I mean, because one of the things that affects you the most is what you put in your mouth. And if you're in this environment where it's loving and it's maybe social, maybe you're socializing with friends or somebody, and you're enjoying good, healthy, for instance, like organic food, that's great and wonderful and absolutely should add to your life. I wish I could take 2 hours. That would be great. It'd probably have to be, much less, but the concept, I'm all for. I'm all for anything that's going to keep your vibration up.
I'll tell you, Allie and I have been really enjoying our extended stay in Acapulco, and we start off every day. I don't know if we quite go 2 hours, but we could probably go an hour and a half breakfast. And really all it is
that's nice.
She has some papaya with cottage cheese. I have pineapple. And then we have a scrambled egg, one scrambled egg between the two of us with vegetables and perhaps some salami in there. And then we drink coffee and we drink celery juice and we play backgammon. And we just
that's beautiful. I mean, that's wonderful. And so how
for
long?
Like an hour and a half.
That is so ideal, and I am so jealous. I am so jealous. But that's like perfect. I mean, that's what life really should be about. I mean, we really truly need to slow down, but our culture, our American culture, is truly killing us, and we have to reverse some of these pressures that we are feeling. Because I don't care what walk of life you're in, we're all feeling it. I mean, it's always push, push, push. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work for somebody, whether you're, it doesn't matter. We all feel it. That's just like the American way. And that kind of pressure, steady pressure, is killing us. It is really killing us.
Yeah, that's stress. Now, I got to talk about something that's really an obvious thing we got to talk about, and that is your skin, my dear. Your beautiful, wrinkle-free, just blemish-free skin. You look so beautiful and youthful and not stressed and healthy. Tell us about your personal beauty regime that enables you to have the face that you have. How do you do that?
First one, I should say, I'm fortunate that I do have I have great genes, and I am.
Hoping you weren't going to say that.
But you know what? But I'm sure you've heard of this. Black doesn't crack. Now that is so false. We just don't show the aging as fast. But what I'd say first and foremost in terms of why my skin looks like it does, and I will tell you my age. In a month, I'm going to be 55.
Whoa! So, I had no idea. I had no idea.
I'm very proud of it. Very proud.
Amen.
Yes. So
you're 1965. I'm 1965. I'm going to be
July
55
31st.
on August 28th. Oh, wow.
Yes. So plenty of water. I drink a lot of water, filtered water. I eat as much organic as I can. Lots of oils. I take a lot of different oils.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Omega-3s, like your fish oil. I invest a lot in oils. I do take a lot of supplements because of the work I do and the testing that I do. It matters whether your body is running like okay, the way most people bodies are running, and it's running optimally. You will start to look and feel the difference. And what I always hear from people that have known me for like years, decades, you don't seem to be aging. Now, you would think that you would see my aging if I worked for 20 years in an inner city emergency department and I had cancer and had other, issues that had come up. But it's truly because of how I take care of myself. And that's particularly what I eat, exercise, really detoxifying, because that's an issue that is just that we have to do today because we're just bombarded by so many pollutants. Gosh, plenty of fruits and vegetables. I am not a vegetarian. I do eat meat, but I do only eat organic meat.
The three most important oils that you're personally investing and ingesting. Omega-3, so that's
Yes,
like fish oils, right?
Yeah, I take fish oil. I also take GLA.
GLA?
Yeah. And I also take conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. I take extra, and particularly that one is from beef, and it's in dairy, but it has much higher levels of it in organic food. And so, but that's anti-cancer, and it helps you lose weight. So
all right, folks. You can see she's got all kinds of secrets. Okay, you can see that she's got all kinds of secrets. I suppose that you bring those secrets to bear on your patients. How can people find out more about having you help them to not just look great, but also age slower or reverse the aging process, and be healthy despite challenges that they may be facing in their lives? How can people find out more about you, Dr. Mayweather?
My office number, it's area code 424-247-4753.
And the website?
Yes, is www.restorebrainbody.com.
Restore
or they can look
brain body.
Yes.
Brain.
Restorebrainbody.com. Or actually, they can look up my practice, my wellness practice, which is the Brain and Body Restoration Institute. And that's in Southern California.
Restorebrainbody.com, or call her up on the phone and make it happen. Yes. Dr. Mayweather, Dr. Yvonne Mayweather has been my guest today on the greatest show of all time. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your life and your experiences with the audience. All right, it's time for my favorite part of the show. Every week we have the one and only CEO of HomeRepair.com, Mr. Tony Silva. And Tony, I know you got some easy home maintenance ideas that could save big bucks for my listeners. So what's on tap for today?
Continuation, Clint. It's continuation of vital home maintenance items you can do yourself to save yourself thousands of future dollars in repairs. And today, I have another unlikely suspect. It is your refrigerator. Wait, what? We're talking about refrigerators, home maintenance? Like, how does a refrigerator tie into home maintenance while you live in your home? And maintaining your refrigerator is actually important. And what we're going to talk about today is specifically the coils on the back side of your refrigerator or underneath your refrigerator. Like, coils? I mean, I thought you just plug the thing in and it makes everything be cold. What do you mean, Tony? Like coils, right? But yeah, refrigerators, most of them have wheels, and they have a cord long enough for you to kind of grab the doors and gently roll it out away from the wall. Without having to unload it. I mean, who wants to unload this? But this is a really easy, simple thing that you can do without taking a ton of time. Pull the thing away from the wall and unplug it, and then locate your coils. Most of the time, they're on the back of the refrigerator. And the coils, it's like that serpentine pipe that looks like a snake going back and forth along the back side of the refrigerator, kind of like a radiator. And the way that those things work is, there's a compressor is pushing the freon through there, or the coolant through those tubes, and the air is touching the tubes to cool them down. So it's very similar to a radiator. It's keeping them cool. And over time, dust and pet hair, Fido's pet hair, the stuff that clogs up your vacuum cleaner or your Roomba, like that stuff actually gets behind your refrigerator too, or cobwebs even. And if it gets around those coils, it can clog the free airflow around them and create almost like a blanket. You don't want to put a blanket around your refrigerator coils. You need them to be open and free and air circulation around all the tubes so that it puts less pressure on your air compressor, right? They're called cooling coils. You got to keep them cool. So you pull the thing out, take a vacuum cleaner. You can vacuum all that stuff up pretty easily, with an extension.
I'd grab my Dyson. I would grab my Dyson and I would just take that hose. I would just take the hose. I love vacuuming. I'm a Virgo. Hey. And I love to get dust and vacuum it up and watch the tracks going in the dust. I love it.
It doesn't
Cool.
matter if you're a city dweller, if you're a mountain dweller. I mean, you probably have a refrigerator, and this is a real easy thing to do. So yeah, use the vacuum cleaner. If you don't have a vacuum or you don't have the wandy kind, get yourself what's called a coil brush. You can get those from the hardware store too. They're a few bucks. It's just, for lack of a better explanation on the radio, it's like a stick with a metal rod going through it that's, fuzzy on the ends, kind of like a bottle brush. By the way, you could also use a bottle brush, the same things you use to clean your bottles. But I mean, you're probably never going to want to use that thing on anything but your refrigerator, right? But that's okay. So bottle brush it, clean that thing out, then, push it back, plug it in. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to put less strain on the compressor, right? Which means it's going to last longer. That thing doesn't have to run as much. Plus, you're going to save yourself energy. I mean, lower your energy bill.
Yep.
By maintaining the very thing that's actually, keeping your food fresh and clean.
That's my biggest piece of electric bill is my refrigerator. I don't use a lot of electricity. One more quick one here, Tony.
Keeping your window wells cleared out, right? So if you have a house with basement windows, those basement windows are typically pretty low to the home. And a lot of times they'll have like a plastic cover over the top of them to keep leaves and debris out. What some people don't know, some people actually don't have those window well covers at all. So I would recommend get some window well covers if you don't have them already. Put them over the top. It still lets the light in, but it protects the leaves from clogging up. Because here's
what do you do? What do you do? You send a small child in the window well to go clean it out? What do you do?
I mean, yeah, you could do that, or you could do a rake. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the challenge is sometimes we've seen where people will go years or never clear those things out, and there's 5 pounds of leaves that build up in there, and that can turn into like a swimming pool, and they actually start filling up. They're designed to drain water away so you don't have the water fill up and blow out your windows. So clean out your window wells. If you've got window well covers, you probably don't have to. It's kind of like a gutter cover, keeping the debris out. But a window well is very similar to a gutter. It's it's a hole in the ground, and you got to keep the debris out of there so that it can flow and drain properly.
Hey, we're in storm season. If you've got damage to your home, you need any kind of home repair or remodeling, you'd be super smart to call the one and only Tony Silva at homerepair.com. Give him the number, Tony.
877-RED-HOUSE.
All right. Now that's going to wrap up this episode of The Greatest Show of All Time. We'll be back next Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Meanwhile, I'm looking forward to seeing you with me and Tony Silva in Atlanta, August 7, 8, 9 with Dr. Oz, Dr. Drew, celebrity chef Paula Dean, and much, much more. Once again, tickets are at www.imm20.com, imm20.com. It's going to wrap it up. I am Clint Arthur, and thanks for tuning in to The Greatest Show of All Time.
The greatest show of all time.